Imagine sitting at your desk, staring at your computer screen, unaware that every single click, scroll, and keystroke is being silently recorded. Not by a hacker, not by spyware, but by your own operating system. Welcome to the new reality. Microsoft has just crossed a line that many thought was unthinkable. And the worst part? Most people will never even notice it happened. A feature called Recall has quietly entered Windows 11. On the surface, it sounds convenient, an assistant that helps you recall what you were working on by tracking your activity. But underneath that polished marketing pitch lies something far more unsettling. Recall is a built-in surveillance system. It captures everything you do. Every tab you open, every password you type, every private message you send. All indexed, all stored, all retrievable. Imagine your every action wrapped into a searchable timeline, like a digital surveillance diary you never meant to write. This isn't a conspiracy theory, it's in the official documentation. Recall takes regular snapshots of your screen every few seconds. It doesn't just remember what apps you used, it visually records what was on your display. That document draft, that bank login, that confidential email, all of it. It's like having a silent witness beside you at all times, quietly recording your digital life. Now ask yourself, who has access to this data? Where is it stored? Who owns the memory of your machine? Microsoft says it's private, that it stays on your device. But the moment a feature like this exists, the door is open to hackers, to law enforcement, to corporate interests, to anyone with the power or the privilege to demand access. It's no longer about if it will be abused, but when. They say it's opt-in. They say you control it. But history tells a different story. How many times have tech giants claimed to protect user data only to be caught monetizing it, leaking it, or handing it over under pressure? Today, Recall is local. Tomorrow, it might be cloud-based, integrated, synced across devices, maybe even required. And it's not paranoia to think this way, it's pattern recognition. The implications are enormous. We are talking about a system that turns your personal computer into a diary you didn't write, but that someone else can read. It redefines privacy, and not in a good way. You're no longer in control of your memory. Your past activity isn't just a vague trace left behind. It's a replayable, searchable archive. And you don't hold the keys. You're just the actor in a play you didn't script, archived for an audience you never chose. Think about the scale of this. Millions of people use Windows, billions of hours of activity, a massive archive of human behavior, typed, clicked, recorded. This is more than just data collection. This is behavioral mapping, profiling, prediction. It's the fuel for AI systems that aim to know you better than you know yourself. Algorithms that don't just follow your behavior, they anticipate it. And if you think it stops with Windows, think again. The trend is spreading. Apple, Google, Meta, all racing toward deeper integration. Your phone knows where you are. Your smart home knows when you sleep. Your watch knows your heart rate. Now your laptop knows what you think. It's no longer a question of whether we're being watched. It's who is watching and what they plan to do with what they see. Because that's what this is really about. Thoughts, intentions. Recall doesn't just log what you do, it allows others to reconstruct your mental path. What you searched before you made a decision, what you read before forming an opinion, what you wrote then deleted. It creates a psychological map, one that can be used for you or against you, for marketing, for manipulation, for control. Imagine being investigated. Imagine being in a courtroom, and your entire desktop history is presented as evidence, not just emails or downloads, but screen captures of everything, context ripped from your private space and twisted into interpretation. You don't even need to commit a crime. All it takes is being interesting to the wrong people, or simply being in the wrong place at the wrong time. This isn't fear-mongering, it's precedent. Surveillance has always crept in under the banner of safety, convenience, or innovation. And by the time people realize what they've traded away, it's too late. Privacy isn't lost all at once. It's chipped away, feature by feature, setting by setting, update by update, until the default state is exposure. And by then, resistance feels futile. And this new feature, Recall, isn't just another step, it's a leap. It blurs the boundary between memory and surveillance, between assistance and intrusion, between your computer helping you and betraying you. A Trojan horse built on trust, a convenience that costs more than anyone is ready to pay. Let's be brutally honest. Microsoft didn't create this to help you remember a file. They created it because the most valuable currency in tech is data. And not just raw data, contextual data, behavioral data, the kind that trains algorithms, the kind that powers ad engines, the kind that feeds AI. It's about monetizing your mind. Because the next phase of the tech war is not about products, it's about understanding humans, predicting their choices, influencing their decisions. And to do that, companies need a digital mirror, something that reflects your actions, your patterns, your weaknesses. Recall is that mirror. Polished, friendly, and infinitely invasive. And if Microsoft has it, others will follow. Competition will demand it. Investors will reward it. Regulators will be too slow to stop it. And before long, the concept of using a computer without surveillance will seem as outdated as a rotary phone. This is the new standard, the new normal. And like all surveillance systems, it thrives in silence. This is not just a privacy issue, it's a power issue. The power to define the boundary between self and system, between your internal life and your digital footprint. And once that line is erased, getting it back is nearly impossible. The erosion becomes permanent, and future generations grow up believing there was never a line to begin with. You might think, I've got nothing to hide. But that's not the point. It never was. It's not about hiding. It's about having control, about choosing what is remembered and what is forgotten. Recall removes that choice. It remembers everything, not for your benefit, but for theirs. Because in this equation, you're not the customexer, you're the product. Ask yourself, who benefits from this? Who stands to gain if every user becomes transparent? Not you, not your family, not your friends. The winners are those who can use that transparency to sell, to manipulate, to dominate. It's surveillance capitalism in its purest form, wrapped in a friendly user interface, sold as a feature, marketed as innovation. But you don't have to accept it. Awareness is the first defense. Speaking out is the second. Pushing back, demanding real choice, transparency, and accountability might be the only way to protect what little privacy we have left. Because if we don't act now, we're not just losing our data, we're surrendering our future. Because once recall becomes normal, once we stop questioning it, it won't be the last. There will be more. Deeper integrations, always on, always watching, always listening. It won't stop with your desktop. It will move to your car, your glasses, your thoughts. And then there will be no such thing as off the grid. This is the test, not of technology, but of will, of whether we, as users, as citizens, as human beings, are willing to draw a line, to say no more, to reclaim our machines, to protect the right to think, act, and remember freely, and to remember that some memories don't belong to anyone but ourselves. If we forget that, we lose more than privacy. We lose what makes us human.